In this lecture, we're going to add a parameter to the animation controller for the treasure chest. If we were to play the game, the shake animation would play once. After it's finished playing, it'll transition into the idle animation. This behavior is almost perfect. The controller should not transition into the next state until a condition has been met. In our case, the transition should occur when the player interacts with the treasure chest. If the player has not opened the chest, the controller should continue looping through the shake event. At the moment, the controller has no idea when the player has opened the treasure chest. Creating a variable will be helpful for this scenario. It turns out that controllers can have custom variables called parameters for keeping track of values related to the animation. Under the Animator window, there's a tab called Parameters. If we click on this tab, we're presented with a list of variables for this controller. Let's add a new parameter by clicking the plus button. This button will provide us the option of adding a variable with the following types: integer, float, boolean, and trigger. Let's select the boolean option. Next, set the name to isShaking. By default, this variable will be set to true. If this variable is true, the treasure chest should be shaking. The moment it turns false, the transition should occur. Let's update our transition by clicking on the arrow connecting the shake and idle states. At the bottom of the inspector, we can add a condition for triggering the transition. Let's add a condition for checking for a false value on the isShaking variable. After the animation finishes playing, Unity checks the isShaking variable. If this variable is set to false, the transition from the shake state to the idle state occurs. After making those changes, we can try testing our game. For some students, the parameters may not have been fully registered until the editor has restarted. I'm going to quickly restart Unity before testing our work. Next, I'll try playing the game. Initially, the treasure chest prefab will infinitely shake. If I were to untick the isShaking variable, the treasure chest would stop shaking. That's perfect. We've successfully added a parameter for stopping the object from shaking. In the next set of lectures, we're going to programmatically toggle the value of the isShaking parameter.